The jungle air wraps around you like a soaked blanket, and the sickly sweet smell of powdered drink mingles with sweat and fear drifting through the trees on the verge of a mass suicide. You hear Jim Jones's voice booming through the loudspeakers, cracked, urgent, repeating again and again that the final moment has come. Around you, mothers hold their children with a tenderness that is no longer comfort, but farewell. You feel your legs trembling, your heart pounding against your chest as if it wanted to escape. You still don't know how you got here, to this clearing of red earth surrounded by jungle, with a steaming metal vat at the center of the crowd. It all began years earlier, in a meeting hall in San Francisco, its walls covered with photographs of smiling people of every race. You walked in looking for community, looking for meaning, looking for a place where the color of your skin wouldn't set you apart. You found a man with dark glasses and a warm voice who spoke of social justice, of equality, of a family without borders. You told yourself this was different, that this charismatic preacher named Jim Jones was unlike the others. You watched miracle healings on stage, bodies trembling, fake tumors pulled out to applause, and you wanted to believe, even as some part of you quietly doubted. Little by little, you gave your time, then your money, then your will. The meeting stretched on until dawn, and sleep became a luxury you could no longer afford. You learned to report on your own companions if they showed doubt, because loyalty was measured in handwritten reports. The letters you sent your family passed through other eyes first, and the ones you received arrived already opened. You convinced yourself that control was protection, that the outside world was hostile, racist, corrupt, and that only inside the temple would you be safe. When they told you about Guyana, about a promised land deep in the South American jungle, you felt something like hope. They told you they would build an agricultural paradise there, far from the racism, far from the persecution they claimed to suffer. You crossed the ocean with hundreds of others, and when you arrived, the jungle's humidity clung to your skin like a second layer of clothing. The settlement was little more than a handful of wooden cabins, hacked out with machetes among centuries-old trees. You worked from sunup to sundown under a relentless, humid heat, while mosquitoes buzzed around your sweat-soaked neck. Food ran short, the rice repeated every day, and hunger became a constant companion beneath the official talk of abundance. The loudspeakers hung from the trees carried Jones's voice at all hours, even while you slept, spinning tales of conspiracies, invisible enemies, imminent attacks. You learned the term white night, those nighttime drills when they woke you, screaming to practice dying together if the enemy ever came. Rows of armed guards watched the perimeter, and you knew, without anyone ever saying it aloud, that leaving was no longer a simple option. The passport you once kept with pride had spent months locked in a safe that wasn't yours. Then November came, and with it, a congressman named Leo Ryan, sent to investigate the complaints of worried families back in the United States. For the first time in a long while, you felt something electric ripple through the camp, a mix of guarded hope and barely hidden terror. You watched Jones smile for the cameras accompanying the congressman, while inside, the tension built like damp gunpowder. Some dared to whisper for help, slipping notes asking to leave with the group heading for the airstrip. That same afternoon, on the airstrip at Port Kaituma, gunfire tore through the air, and the congressman and several others fell onto the red earth, while the rest fled into the brush. Back at the camp, Jones's voice changed tone, grew heavier, more final, speaking of how there was no way out left. The guards carried the great metal vat to the center of the main pavilion, and inside it they mixed the fruit-flavored powder with something far darker. It wasn't the drink the world would later remember under a different name, but the result would be the same, and you knew it. You watched the nurses prepare syringes for the youngest ones, because the children would be called first, and the sound of their crying lodged in your chest like a blade. The perimeter was sealed. Guards with crossbows and rifles ringed the pavilion, and you understood that this white night, for the first time, was no drill. Now you stand in that same clearing where it all began, the metal cup trembling between your damp fingers. You see the faces around you, some weeping, others wearing a strange calm, almost absent, as if they had already left their bodies. You hear Jones's voice repeating that dying this way is an act of dignity, one last revolutionary gesture against a world that betrayed them. You smell the wet earth, the collective sweat, a sweetish trace mixed with something metallic you couldn't quite name. The sound of sobbing blends with the murmur of night insects, a chorus you never imagined as the soundtrack to your own farewell. You raise the cup to your lips because there is no other visible way out left around you, no path through the thick brush that doesn't end in gunfire. The first swallow is bitter, more than you expected, and a shiver runs down your throat, even before you finish it. For a fleeting instant, you think of the person you were before walking through that door in San Francisco, of the life you left behind, believing you'd find something better. Your breathing starts to thicken, your hands lose their strength, and the cup slips from your fingers, falling onto the red earth with a dull thud. Around you, the crying turns into moaning, bodies clinging to each other as they fall, a collective murmur fading slowly beneath the canopy of trees. Your sight blurs at the edges, as if someone were slowly dimming the lights in a vast room. The humid heat of the jungle no longer bothers you, because your own body starts to feel distant, foreign, as though you were watching the scene from outside yourself. You can still hear Jones's voice, growing more and more distant, mixed with the steady hum of insects and the echo of your own racing pulse. One last thought crosses your mind, sharp amid the haze, the memory of a beloved face left behind across the ocean, waiting for letters that will never arrive. Your legs give way. The red earth receives your body with the same indifference it showed to hundreds before you, and the jungle of Guyana, silent witness, closes the page on Jonestown, one of the greatest tragedies of the 20th century. The world woke the next day to a number that seemed impossible. 914 bodies scattered through the Guyanese jungle, more than 300 of them children. Aerial photographs of the bodies surrounding the pavilion appeared on front pages across the globe, turning the word Jonestown into a byword for cult manipulation. The killing of Congressman Leo Ryan went down in history as the only fatal attack on a sitting member of the United States Congress in the line of duty. It took authorities days to identify the bodies in the jungle's oppressive heat, while families back in the United States waited for news that arrived broken and delayed. Jonestown remains etched in collective memory as a warning about the power of isolation, psychological control, and blind obedience. And it gave rise to the phrase, "drinking the Kool-Aid," still used today to describe total submission to an idea or a leader.